thinking about coming out of the broom closet? I know of many witches that practice in secrecy. I was one of those witches for a long time. I did it not because I was ashamed of practicing, but because I wanted to be spared of the stereotypes and stigmas that are attached to the word witch or witchcraft. I didn't want to have to explain myself or even defend myself. I just wanted to enjoy my practice, and I wanted to practice in peace. Of course, as I have aged and entered the Crone phase of life, these things are not so worrisome to me anymore. I do what I want. Of course, I take into consideration others' feelings, but I need to worry about me and my own mental health and happiness first and foremost. Because at the end of the day, only I can make me happy. However, with that said, I am also not skipping down the street of my town screaming at the top of my lungs, "I'm a witch!" I'm not hiding it, but if someone asks, I'll tell them. In fact, I never actually made an official announcement. I've only felt compelled to tell a select few people. It took many months for me to even build up the bravery to do that. And even now, not everyone I know knows. It's not because I'm ashamed, as I said before, and I'm not even trying to hide it at this point. It's just that an opportunity hasn't presented itself yet for certain people I associate with. It's not an easy topic of conversation. Not typical dinner table chat, you know what I mean? So hey, FYI, I'm a witch. Can you pass the potatoes and the gravy, please? Back in my youth, that probably would not have gone over too well in my house. When I first decided to speak about my practice, I did it gradually, starting with a few close friends, and surprisingly, there were a few of them that were closet witches too. They were relieved when I came out because they felt they could too. And it really does feel like a weight was lifted. It felt freeing, it felt right, and it felt good to finally be completely me. Now mind you, I was raised Catholic, but have not practiced that religion in many moons. It was forced upon me as a child. I did what my parents told me. So I think I've got a bit of PTSD from it. Because of my upbringing, I was extremely apprehensive to explain my witchy ways to certain family members. I thought for sure I would get lectured, told I was going to hell, and all the commentary that goes along with having that kind of conversation. Then one day, I had the perfect opportunity present itself with my parents. So I took the leap, and to my surprise, those conversations were well received. All this time, all these years, I stressed and worried about nothing. I worried about my own scenario that I had created in my head about how this conversation would go down. It went nothing like how I hyped myself up for it to be. I was thankful and lucky to have both parents and step-parents be very accepting. Once it was out in the open, I then explained to my parents what it meant and what I was doing in my practice. Of course, I follow an eclectic green witch path, so I view myself as a healer and energy worker. Since I'm not going around sacrificing small animals or virgins, and I'm not the typical Hollywood portrayed witch, the whole conversation went extremely well with my parents. In return, questions were asked, and I was happy to give the answers. An entire educational process occurred. They were extremely interested in what it meant. Of course, not all parents or even friends, or spouses for that matter, will react this positively. I think intuitively, if you really think about it, you will know deep down how it will go. And if they respond, I don't believe in that stuff. That's perfectly fine. They don't need to believe it, and nor do you need to convince them otherwise. I honestly believe, after being a practitioner for many years and knowing the path that I have chosen, there's just too much good stuff to not share. A lot of misconceptions are still alive and well, and I feel that part of my path is to educate those who have fallacies towards the craft. Again, not all people will be receptive to what you have to say. Learn to pick your battles and use your gut instinct. That gut feeling is there for a reason. Learn to listen to it. Hone in. Don't ignore it. Those messages are there and put into place to be received. When you are ready to inform family, friends, or even a spouse, remember to keep your cool during the conversation. It's not uncommon to be criticized or be met with passive-aggressive comments or get interrupted because there will be questions to be had. Keeping a calm state of mind will de-escalate the situation and keep you on track. Don't get defensive, and remember, this conversation is a means to be open about your spiritual path, and that your goal isn't to hurt the people you love by coming out of the broom closet. Your spiritual journey is not up for debate. Be firm in your convictions, but remain calm and confident when you decide to spill the cauldron. If you feel you cannot stay calm because emotions are high, continue the conversation at another time. If they protest, stop and calmly say, "I'm not in the right mindset to continue this conversation," and walk away. Period. End it right there. And of course, always thank those who took the time to listen to you. Thank them for allowing you to share an important part of your life with them. When you are talking to others about your spiritual path, keep in mind to respect their beliefs as much as you wish them to respect yours. So throwing a temper tantrum, crying, kicking, and screaming that Christianity, or insert any other religion here, is the worst religion on the planet is probably a poor way to go about making your points. Remain calm. I cannot stress that enough. Just remember though, you are under no obligation to tell or not tell anyone about your spiritual path. That choice is yours and yours alone. Do what you are comfortable with. However, I'm not going to lie. As I said previously, it is very freeing to be out of the broom closet. It's very empowering and feels as though a weight has been lifted from my soul. If you do decide to come out of the broom closet, you can do so gradually like I did by telling small groups of people at different times, or you can go full throttle and tell anyone who stands in your way. That is the beauty about this practice. You can do what feels right to you, period. You certainly don't have to rent a flashy billboard, go on TV, broadcast it to the world in one fell swoop. You are not obligated to wear a t-shirt that says, "Hey, I'm a witch." In fact, even when you come out, that doesn't mean you have to be out and on display all the time. There are times I go out into public and I don't want to be ousted. It's those times I'm cautious about the jewelry that I wear and what tattoos are showing. Even though I'm at a point in my practice where I don't care what people think, I also like the fact that I can still be private about it. Let's face it, in today's world, not everyone is going to accept the witchy way nicely, and quite frankly, I don't want to waste my own energy on those who are vile and close-minded. There are ways you can practice privately if you aren't ready to come out of the closet. You can create an altar inside a bureau drawer, hidden away, discreet, but a beautiful little place for all your witchy tools. No one will be the wiser. No one will ever know. Unless, of course, you have a busybody roaming around your home looking in your drawers, and that's just weird. Plain white candles, burn them. This will protect your home from negative energy that anyone may bring with them when they come to visit. Incense. Most people do not see this stuff as spiritual or having metaphysical properties. For example, even though my husband knows I practice and he supports me, he doesn't believe in any of it. He sees my incense as a horrific smelling stick and runs the other way. Salt bowls. Salt is for protection. Those can easily be placed discreetly throughout the home. Just make sure your animals and young children do not get into it. Mason jars filled with water. You can easily leave one on the windowsill during a full moon, hidden away from prying eyes behind the curtains. Use this water for teas or coffees, bless doorways, use in ritual baths, etc. You can also fill up the mason jar with plain water. Cover the jar, place a crystal on it overnight to charge and infuse your drinking water with all sorts of good intentions. Rose quartz, amethyst, or black tourmaline are some great stones. Don't place the tourmaline inside the water though, it can be toxic. And as a general rule, I don't typically place my crystals in the water that I plan on consuming. I don't want to be bothered with figuring out if this is going to be bad for me or not, so I just don't do it. I just put it on top of the bottle, or I have the crystal lying next to the glass, touching. That's all it needs. Wear jewelry. Consecrate or bless the jewelry and wear it. No one will ever know. It's just plain jewelry, right? Create tiny spell jars and keep them in your purse or pocket. No one will see those, and these little jars enable you to practice right out in the open. Wash your hands. Say a little chant inside your head while you wash away the negative energy. Goddess knows, with COVID-19 around, no one is going to think you're weird by washing your hands for a few extra minutes. Don't ever feel you have to come out of the broom closet. This podcast is not about pressuring you to do so. Come out of the broom closet all the way, partially, or not at all. Do what feels right for you and your practice. Just know you're not alone. Blessed be and happy witching. Until next time, remember, live love and magic. Take care, everyone.